Jala could tell the looking-glass was magical the moment she saw it, and that did not surprise her one bit. Why? Why, her mother was magical, of course. That had been obvious to Jala for years. How else could her mother always know what she was thinking before she said it? And how else could her mother have produced so many snacks, juice boxes, warm sweaters, and first aid supplies at exactly the right moment? Her mother had done magical things so many times that Jala had ceased to be amazed by it. No doubt about it, this mirror was definitely her mother's handiwork. After all, slipping into her room to make it lovelier while Jala was on the front porch checking the weather was exactly the kind of thing her magical mother would do. So, far from being alarmed by the presence of this mirror, Jala was eager to test it out. If her mother put it here, it must be safe, and besides, Jala and her mother had read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking-Glass twice, making Jala something of an expert on such matters. The mirror was perfectly firm to the touch, so, having no white rabbits to follow, Jala sat down on the conveniently placed beanbag and gazed into the mirror, pondering various ways to make it work. All Skippy John Jones had to do was bounce on his big boy bed to make himself, he was a Siamese cat, look like a chihuahua in the mirror and begin his adventures. But Skippy John was only pretending, and that was just a fantasy book. This was real life. When Jala looked into the mirror, all she could see was her regular face surrounded by messy, morning hair. This was true even when she was bouncing. Clearly, getting to the magic in this mirror took more than just looking at it or jumping around. After a few more minutes of puzzling, Jala decided not to worry about it. Undoubtedly, her mother would tell her the trick of the mirror at breakfast. Then they could go on a mother-daughter adventure together before anyone else had even woken up. All she had to do was wait to be called and not get in trouble in the meantime. The thought of having a private adventure with her mother was so delightful that Jala almost forgot how hungry she thought she was and nestled herself deeper into the sky-blue beanbag chair to read The Wolves in the Walls and wait for her mother to call her. Jala loved wolves. She had started out playing at monkeys, then progressed through several different species of the cat family before she had finally settled into the canines. It started with sheepdogs, but it wasn't long before sheepdogs led to wolves. There was something about the howling that appealed to her, and the moon. The moon? Yes, the moon. Over the top of her book, she imagined she could see the moon hanging full and round in the mirror. But it wasn't her imagination. The fullest, roundest moon she had ever seen hung over a rocky ledge, the base of which was surrounded by a deep pine forest. There was a white wolf standing on that ledge. The wolf was standing so still that Jala had almost convinced herself that the whole scene was a picture, when, with a sudden flash, the wolf turned to look at her. Their gazes locked. The only thing Jala could think of was how much the white wolf's eyes looked like her sister's hazel ones. But there was another flash, and the wolf's eyes went from hazel to the darkest, truest brown there was, and Jala felt herself falling and not knowing when she would stop.